The fortress, its towers high, pennants flapping in the wind, inverted. War, the burning sword clutched in a gauntleted hand, inverted. Death, the robed, skull-faced reaper, scythe held high, upright. Above it all, the chirurgeon, mechanical limbs furiously working to heal and mend, inverted. Beneath it all, plague, a tapestry of gnawing vermin and blackened, diseased corpses, upright. Inquisitor Jade Coraziel shook her head, blinking, trying to dispel the omen. Of all the potential omens the Emperor's tarot might have shown her, after her lucid nightmares, this was the very worst. She felt her skin prickle as she regarded the cards. This had been the third time in a row she had drawn the same series, in the same pattern. Once was an omen, twice was a guarantee, thrice was... She didn't want to think about it. The dim lighting of a lone hearth did little to dispel the palpable air of dread present in the chamber. Around her, her choir watched, vigilantly. She had instructed them to be ready in case things went wrong. Prophecy was always dangerous. Her servants were all loyal to her for various reasons. The stormtroopers because they were mind-scoured to be so. The hunter, Reyes, because she had provided him with a steady river of thrown gelt, more so than he'd ever seen. Atharat, because Jade gave her a steady supply of heretics to slaughter. Victorix, Sigma Phi, because he was bred to be programmed to be. And Elenia, because she was a friend, one of the few in her retinue that still possessed compassion. The chamber around her was decorated by the pelts of many a fearsome beast, hung from the walls and draped over the benches and chairs that surrounded the oval table that dominated the space. The towering giant on the far side of the table shared the concern of her choir, but none of the loyalty. She could sense the mistrust, the palpable, pent-up discontent of one who was, for all intents and purposes, an enemy of the Ordo Malleus. And his form dwarfed everybody else's. He was large, even for a space marine, and he was not a friend. He was a tenuous ally, who had agreed to aid her for reasons she did not yet fully understand.
3 omens,
the giant growled, his voice like an avalanche in a mountain pass, sonorous and oddly melodic. Bolverk Naglfarson was a shaggy monster, black-haired and armored in slate-gray ceramite.
3 ravens,
he echoed, his Fenrisian accent thick.
Carrion flocking to a dying world.
At least he understood the severity of the omens. She wouldn't have to convince him.
We must make haste to Eolicanth's gate. My astromantic divinations have shown the shroud of prophecy cloaking that world, a creeping discoloration through the warp, like decay spreading around an infected wound.
She realized her metaphor might be closer to the truth than she liked.
If the tides of the dark beyond hold, Naglfar will arrive on the shores of real space in 3 days.
The Space Wolf captain growled. The Inquisitor nodded. Even if she feared the worst, she didn't know when the threat would come, or even what it was specifically, but she knew it would. The thricefold omen left no other outcome. Haste was paramount. She stood up from the table, her limbs trembling, exhausted from months racked by a nightmarish mockery of sleep. Her furs and robe kept some of the frigid, stale air of the Space Wolf vessel at bay, but much of the cold came from within. Her strength was fading, leached by her so-called gift.
Emperor Ascendant, give me strength,
she whispered as she left the chamber. Somehow, she could only barely hear the power-armored giant following her. His warriors called him the ghost of the Fimbulventir. He was a ghost, a brooding monster that spent more time communing with the dead than conversing with the living.
You weaken,
he grumbled.
I smell the sweat of fevered nightmares and the reek of witchcraft.
She didn't stop. nor did she try to dissuade his worry-fueled accusation.
Both are true. I am blighted by a recurring nightmare. Locusts descend into a carrion city. The dead walk, infested by a terrible contagion. I see worlds blacken, alive, in hideous, unnatural growth, but dead and damned to the Emperor's light. I see a shadow with 3 eyes and 4 wings. It whispers to me.
As they tread down one of the dark, gunmetal corridors of Naglfar's dorsal spine, Jade realized Bolverk had to know where they were going. The navigation bubble, the only place where one could gaze out into the seething madness of the warp. Only the most fortified of minds could do so without inviting the madness into their souls. And she had to see. She had to learn more about what was coming.
Careful, witchling. To gaze into darkness is to embrace it.
The giant growled.
I will end you if you slip.
The Inquisitor nodded.
As I would expect you to do, I perform this sin so that others do not have to. I must pierce the shroud in the warp.
She frowned, remembering how many times she tried to do the same thing. It was as though the warp was shrouding whatever was coming.
Then see, witchling, find the doom that is coming, so that I might unleash the rout and carve this mysterious threat to pieces.
Jade smiled grimly.
I will try, Bolverk. I will try.
Noxious fumes billowed from the belching pipe organ at the heart of the Locust's strategium. 7 massive rusted tubes filled the vaulted, dilapidated chamber with an acid stench as the plague-bearer groaned into and over the grotesque instrument played a deranged melody that cast dissonant notes throughout the cavernous chamber. A vast network of ichor-dripping tubes of both mechanical and organic origin were splayed out from the demented instrument, connected to various other arcane apparatus scattered throughout the space. Arched, lancet windows, befitted with tarnish-stained glass, depicted the shapes of looming reapers, the icons of corpse flies, and many other symbols of entropy and decay. The wan light of some distant sun filtered through, bathing the chamber in a pallid, greenish haze. Amidst the strategium, things that were once servitors were fused with ancient corroded cogitators, overgrown with cancerous organic masses. They buzzed, a chatter of 1,000 droning voices to mix with the actual buzzing of the millions of bloated flies that shrouded the chamber's ceiling 100 meters above. Several other figures stood sentinel amidst the cogitator banks, and flanking the grotesque pipe organ at the chamber's heart. Tall, hulking figures, armored in ancient, rusted ceramite. Plague marines. Through fogged optical lenses and shrouded eye slits, they watched a pseudopod-like projection of the fly swarm descend into the heart of the chamber, coalescing above the dais upon which the obscene instrument belched its maddening song. The flies began to circle, forming into some manner of spherical shape. Even though the swarm was in constant motion, the image it formed was a perfect rendition of the world they approached. Greenish flies swarmed over parts of the globe to denote forests, while slate-gray flies swarmed in jagged ridges to depict mountains, and in radial wounds to represent the world's vast hive cities. More flies, bluish in hue, signified the world's polluted oceans.
Eolicanth's gate.
One voice, toneless in its depth, rose to drown out the swarm. It was connected directly to the open-jawed skulls of the Vox servitors mounted into the grotesque gargoyles looming in the many alcoves of the chamber. It was the voice of the alchemist. None aboard knew exactly where the alchemist resided upon the vessel, for only a few sections of the Locust were designated to be safe for human use, even for the Death Guard. The demon-infused machine spirit of the vessel let the alchemist go wherever he pleased, but all others were subject to the Locust's gluttonous appetite. The corridors of the vessel itself, like tooth-lined gullets, were always ready to gorge themselves on any mortal foolish enough to tread through them.
Our next point of data correlation in our grand experiment,
the voice continued. The Plague Marines aboard the Strategium tilted their heads, watching the mesmerizing image of flies disperse to form a singular plane, a zoomed-in image of one of the plateaus, centered around the stepped mountain. The mountain was a tiered amalgam of needle spires, gargantuan towers, arches, and bulbous structures resembling domes and stacked discs. Smaller versions of the immense hive all but grew from its radial lines. The lines were sevenfold, giving the Plague Marines immediate indication as to why the alchemist had chosen this particular city.
Hive Epsilon Dominarch, isolated from the other outbreaks of mankind's mortal fecundity by the entropy of war.
The voice continued.
The Hive's founders have already marked the icon of its ascension into the putrid soil, and have built the city in the form of the sevenfold symbol of blessed decay. They have long sown the seeds. The caress of entropy's pallid fingers has ripened the fruits, and now we come for the harvest.
The Plague Marine stood silently, awaiting the orders.
Quiet the furnaces, douse the sun within. We approach as the silence of the inevitable grave. Ready the Locust for atmospheric dispersion vectors. Ready the host for manual infection vectors. We make Epsilon Dominarch the final cauldron in which to perfect our most grand and vile of contagions. And when the world pox is ready to be gifted unto the ripened flesh of the rotting Imperium, we shall sup from its poisoned chalice and bask in Father Nurgle's putrescent radiance.
As one, the 7 Plague Marines broke their mesmerized trance, each setting out to a particular location within the festering Strategium to ensure the alchemist's orders came to fruition.
MiniWarGamer Dave here from MiniWarGaming.com, here with Tom.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome, Wargamers, to the Doom of Eolicanth, narrative campaign written by Miles Drake, the Black Library author. I am super excited. Death Guard versus Space Wolves. In my mind, it doesn't matter who wins. No.
We've already won.
Either way, it's all good. So make sure to click on the link in the video description below to gain access to this entire campaign. If you're watching it as a non-Vault member, you can do that by going to miniwargaming.com/Eolicanth. It is on the screen for you right now in case you don't know how to spell it, in case you're not on your phone, in case you're in a spot where you have to type it out, miniwargaming.com/Eolicanth. Let's take a look at the mission narrative. Did you guys like the narrative that we just jumped from? I think that was pretty awesome. To me, it was like being immersed in a Black Library novel. That's why I'm so excited for this. Let's see what we're doing on the battlefield right now.
Packs of Nurglings have erupted from the sewage sumps on board the Antiliar Barbican, cavorting about and causing havoc. They are what is responsible for the warping of the machine spirits aboard the station, and the longer they remain on board, the more irreversible the damage is. A horrific burst of scrapcode has caused all of the Mechanicus personnel on board to go insane. Many of them have killed themselves, while others gibber to themselves in the corners and present no resistance to either side. The few actual survivors have hidden in the vents of the station and will not interfere in the ensuing battle. The Space Wolf Thunderhawks have reached the Antiliar Barbican in the dead silence of a cold burn, and their cargo has disembarked, jumping through the void to land upon the station's auxiliary loading dock. The scrapcode infected security systems immediately detected the Space Wolves, alerting the Death Guard detachment already present on the station to the threat. With Bolverk Naglfarson leading the foray himself and accompanied by Iron Priest Trigg V. Steelfingers, the Space Wolves hope to thwart the Death Guard's corruption of the station, restore its lance batteries and void shields, and turn it to bear against the Locust. The battlefield today resembles the interior of a space station using Zone Mortalis tiles. In the center of the battlefield, there's a large open chamber, which you can see right there, strewn with hemotrope reactors, alchemite stacks, and a void shield generator. This will be the Generatorium. On this short table edge, smaller open chamber features galvanic servo haulers and a few Minotaurus armored containers. This will be the loading dock. On the short table edge opposite to the loading dock, another small open chamber features a galvanic magnavent, and that's actually pretty much all that could fit here. This will be the lance gunnery station. For deployment, the Ravnsvake will deploy in the loading dock, and the Poisoned Chalice will deploy within 12 inches of the Generatorium. The Poisoned Chalice will deploy all of the units first, and the Ravnsvake will deploy all of the units second. This is a portion of the Poisoned Chalice detachment for the Death Guard. Representing the warlord in this army is Croesus the Serene. He is a malignant plague caster. He has the miasma of pestilence and blades of putrefaction psychic abilities. For my first troops choice, we have the Veduak. They are Blackstone Fortress Trader Guardsmen, non-Nerglified. They are equipped with 6 las guns, 2 flamers, 4 are armed with auto pistols and brutal weapons, and the champions are armed with auto pistols and chain swords, for a total of 14 in the unit. For an elite choice, we have Olgarox the Envoy, represented with 6 Deathshroud Terminators, equipped with Plague Spurt Gauntlets and Man Reapers, and we have a Chaos Lord there, who represents Olgarox the Envoy. Olgarox the Envoy has a couple special weapons. He's got Rotrezor and the Toll of Abominable Despair. Rotrezor is a melee weapon, strength user, -2 AP, 1 damage, and the weapon wounds infantry and cavalry targets on a 2+. And the Toll of Abominable Despair, during the shooting phase, Olgarox the Envoy may use the Toll of Virulence to cause all enemy infantry and cavalry units within 7 inches to make a leadership test. Each unit suffers 1 mortal wound for each point they failed their leadership by. And for my second troops choice, we have Knights of the Blackened Cyst. They are Plague Marines, 7 Plague Marines in that unit. We have a plasma gun, a melta-gun, and then we have a plasma gun and a special sword, Plague Sword, on the champion. And here we have the Ravnsvake detachment, Space Wolf detachment. Led by Captain Bolverk Naglfarson, the Space Wolf captain himself. He is armed with the black axes of Suture, frag, and crack grenades. The black axes of Suture are melee weapons, strength +1, AP -3, 2 damage, and each wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound in addition to any other results. He has a special rule called Berserk, which means that when he charges enemy units, he gains D3 extra attacks during the subsequent fight phase. He also has the Ghost of the Fimbulventur special rule, which means that he counts as being in cover against enemy shooting attacks while he is more than 12 inches or more from the enemy shooter. His warlord trait is Saga of the Hunter, which means he can advance and charge in the same turn, and he gets +2 to his save instead of 1 if he's in cover. The Iron Priest in this detachment is Steel Fingers, and he is your standard Iron Priest. Hellfrost Pistol, Servo Arm, and Tempest Hammer. He's your standard Iron Priest loadout. For heavy support, we have Suture the Black. He is a Contemptor Dreadnought. He's equipped with a multi-melta and a Dreadnought close combat weapon. He also has a combi bolter. Suture the Black was one of the most fearsome warriors of the Sons of Morkai and the founder of the Ravnsvake, guiding his brethren on an eternal crusade well beyond the Imperium's borders. His Space Wolves became the terrors of the Outer Darkness, bringing devastation to the Xenos and outcasts lurking beyond the galactic rim. Suture fell in battle against the Death Guard during a push deep into the Scourge Stars, mortally wounded by the vile toxins of a mad Death Guard Belogis putrefier. With much of his flesh purged away by flame, his remnants have been interred into a shell of a legendary Contemptor Dreadnought, so that his saga might not yet end. And he happens to be the father of Bolverk Naglfarson. First troop's choice, the Ghosts of Azaheim. They are Grey Hunters. It contains 9 Grey Hunters and Grim Herald. Grim Herald is equipped with a bolt pistol and a frost axe. The rest of the Grey Hunters are equipped with bolt guns, bolt pistols, chain swords, frag, and crack grenades. The Ghosts of Azahheim have some special custom rules. Deadly Crossfire. If this unit does not move or advance, they may fire their bolt guns as though they were heavy too. Firing Discipline. Whenever a model in this unit rolls a 6 to wound with a bolt pistol or bolt gun, that attack gains AP-1 and deals 2 damage. Nowhere to Hide. Enemy units do not gain the benefit of cover against attacks made by this unit. And their last custom special rule is Strike and Fade. This unit may shoot in advance. Unglamorous and hardly concerned with the usual pursuit of honor and glory, the Ghosts of Azahheim are grim-faced killers, entirely focused on bringing death to the enemies of the Imperium. Each of them is a sole survivor, a battered and grizzled veteran of many battles, and none more so than Grim Herald, the lone survivor of Strike Force Grimhowl, which was obliterated by the Death Guard some half a century ago. Foregoing the typical assorted weapons favored by other Space Marines, the Ghosts of Azahheim rely purely on the preternatural prowess with their bolter and their well-trained firing discipline. Second troop's choice in the Ravnsvake detachment is Baldur's Herdmen. It's a unit of 9 Grey Hunters and Baldur the Bloody. Baldur the Bloody is armed with a plasma pistol and power axe. One of which is the Wolf Standard. 2 Grey Hunters are armed with melta-guns, and that is the Baldur's Herdmen. They are all Fenrisian nobles, each a fine warrior, tried and tested as a blood claw, led by the ever-zealous hunter Baldur the Bloody. The Herdmen seek out the largest foes of the Ravnsvake and fell them with precise volleys of melta fire. For everything else, their skill with the bolter and chainsword is more than enough to suffice. For the objectives, the Poisoned Chalice player, which is me, I'll be doing the Death Guard. In fact, I'll be doing the Death Guard for the entirety of the campaign, and the Ravnsvake will be played by Tom for the entirety of the campaign. Poisoned Chalice player, which is me, must place 4 units of Nurglings, 3 models each, on the battlefield. 1 Nurgling unit must begin in each table quarter. These Nurglings will remain under the Poisoned Chalice control, but will count as the objectives. Because we didn't have 12 Nurgling models, we only had 8, we're going to have to substitute or mark a Dave a spawn as a unit of Nurglings. And so each one will consist of 2 Nurglings and 1 spawn, but it's not actually going to be a spawn. It'll count as a Nurgling unit. At the end of each Poisoned Chalice turn, the Poisoned Chalice player will gain 1 victory point for each Nurgling unit that is still alive and not locked in combat. If a Nurgling unit is destroyed, the Ravnsvake player immediately gains 3 victory points. Also, if a Nurgling unit is destroyed, wait, hold on, no, I already read that. Destroying a unit with the Nurgle keyword, anything but the Veduak, because they are not Nurgling, that'll give you 1 victory point as the Ravnsvake player. Killing Croesus the Serene, my warlord, will grant you 2 victory points instead. Killing Bolverk or the Iron Priest will grant the Poisoned Chalice 2 victory points each. If the Ravnsvake are tabled, they will automatically lose. If the Poisoned Chalice are tabled, the game ends and the victory points must be totaled. If all 4 objective Nurgling units are destroyed, the game ends and victory must be totaled up. Special game rules. The following rules are in place for this scenario. The Ravnsvake gain the first turn. The Poisoned Chalice may attempt to seize the initiative. Command points and stratagems may be used as normal. The Relics of Decay and the Trophies of Fenrir stratagems may not be used. The Behind Enemy Lines rule may not be used. That applies to you because Bolverk has that, which means he can redeploy. So in this particular mission, he cannot use that. And any weapons with a type featuring a dice roll, i.e. Assault D6, Heavy D6, etc., will add 2 to the number of hits they inflict, representing the effect of blasts in tight corridors. The game will continue until either Space Wolves have been tabled or when all 4 Nurgling units are destroyed. Taking a look at the deployment, I deployed first as per the mission parameters within 12 inches of the Generatarium. We have the Veduak, we have Knights of the Blackened Cyst, which are the Plague Marines, we have Ogoraks, the Envoy and his Destral Terminators. And then we have Croesus the Serene, the Malignant Plaguecaster. Here in the loading dock, we have Bolverk with Steel Fingers, the Iron Priest, with the Contemptor Dread, Suitor the Black. And then we have the Ghosts of Azaheim Grey Hunters right there. And over here, we have the Herdmen, the other Grey Hunters. I have a chance to seal the initiative in this mission, and I'm going to try to do that right now. And I do with a 6.
Nice.
By the way, for those of you who want to download the campaign to take a look at the special campaign rules and all of the units and their special rules that they have and the narratives behind them and the narrative behind the entire campaign, do so by clicking on the link in the video description below. All of the campaign special rules will be included for your viewing pleasure. As per the mission, I control these Nurgling units, also the objectives, so I'm going to go ahead and run this first Nurgling unit right now. I'm going to basically write this Nurgling unit off as 3 victory points for you, but I'm going to run these guys away just to see if I can do something. That's 1 inch added to their 5-inch movement, so 6 inches. I'm just going to run towards the door here. The Vedawak, they will run in this direction. 4 plus their 6, so 10 inches. They're going to make their way over here so that they can protect this unit, this objective. And they've made their way slightly closer to this objective. Now for the Knights of the Black Insist, they're going to move up here and just wait behind the door.
Oh, that's smart.
Well, I might as well run them. They are lying in wait. Croesus the Serene will move. He's going to run 5. He's going to run through here because he wants to make his way closer to these objectives, these Nurglings over there, to protect them. So he'll go through this door, and the door will shut behind him. Olgarax, the Envoy, and his unit, they're going to run. Oh, not very fast. They don't go fast at all. They only go 5 inches total. For this objective over here, these Nurglings, I'm going to run them, make you move a little bit. 6 plus their 5, 11 inches. And they are over here. In the psychic phase, Croesus the Serene is going to cast Miasma of Pestilence on Olgarax and the Envoy to make it harder to hit them. And he makes it with an 11. On to the Ravnsvake turn. The Herdsmen, they're going to move forward, and they're going to just simply move. They're not going to run. The Ghosts of Azaheim, they're going to move and advance because they have their special ability that allows them to shoot after they advance. And how far they advance? An inch.
I'll just give me a point to reroll that.
Man point reroll?
Yep.
3, that's a bit better. Suitor the Black will move, opening up this massive door, moving through it. And oh, does he see the objective? Not quite. He can't see the objective, but he can see through that door, should I choose to enter through it.
Whenever I should advance him behind here, but you could probably see over there.
And Tom's going to advance him here, 5 inches, just so he's covered in case my Plague Marines come through. Steel Fingers will move and advance. 6 inches. Bolverk now, he's going to move and advance a couple inches. Staying close to Steel Fingers and his dad. Ghosts of Azaheim are going to throw some firepower into this objective here of Nurgles.
I think he's too fired up for a frag, so I'm going to fire his bolt pistol.
Grim Herald is going to throw a frag grenade at them. So a couple. Hitting on 3s.
Oh, we get the +2.
Oh, you're right.
Actually,
that's 4.
Yeah.
Adding 2 because of the scenario. So hitting on 3s. 2 hits. Wounding on 5s. Oh, pardon me, they're actually wounding on 3s there because Nurglings are only toughness 2.
Not a wound.
Not a wound. Now for the bolters, they're going to be rapid firing, hitting on 3s. Strength 4, toughness 2, wounding on 2s. Nice. Nurglings have a 5-up demonic invuln save. So made a few of them. And now disgustingly resilient, 5-up. Made a few more, so 3 wounds. Baldur's Herdmen over here are going to fire their weapons at these Nurglings, starting with the bolters hitting on 3s. 3 hits. Wounding on 2s. 2 wounds. 5-up invuln save. And 5 up disgustingly resilient. So 1 wound. And now for their couple melta-guns, which I don't receive the benefit of disgustingly resilient for. So hitting on 3s, 1 hit, and wounding on a 2. That's a wound. 5 up invuln save, and I fail it. D6 damage, 2. Oh. Down to 1. On to the Poisoned Chalice turn. Starting with Knights of the Blackened Cyst. They're going to move through this door. But before I do that, actually, got to add up the victory points of the previous turn, which were 4, because they were unengaged. My Nurgling objective units were unengaged, so that's 4 in total, because they're 1 each if they're unengaged, and they're still alive. 4 for the Poisoned Chalice. Now going back to the movement phase of Knights of the Blackened Cyst here. Let's move these guys out. I want to move my my more important weapons out so they can see you. Now moving the other units. For this Nurgling unit, I'm going to run them. So I'll just kind of come around here, just so they can be more protected. The Veduak, I will run them as well. They go 10 inches. Crozis the Serene will move, and he's going to meet this unit of Death Shroud here. I'll keep this Nurgle objective unit back in this scrap pile. This Nurgling objective unit, I'm going to run them. They go N inch. I'm going to spend a command point and re-roll that. That's a little better.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to be going through here. I'm running away from you. And this Nurgling objective unit, I'm going to run them away. 4. Can I make it on the other side? Oh,
I think we can.
I think I can. Door shuts. I'm going to skip the psychic phase from now, and I'm just going to go ahead and go to the shooting phase. I'm going to target your Grey Hunters there, your Baldur's Herdmen, with my Knights of the Blackened Cyst, starting with Bolters. 6 shots, hitting on 3s. Ooh. Wounding on 4s. 1 wound. 3 up save on the Herdman. Saved. Now for the melta-gun, hitting on a 3, that's a miss. I got a plasma. You know what? I'm gonna not supercharge. It's not. You know, I will, because I'm wounding on 2s there. Yeah, I will. I'll do it. I'll rapid fire. Starting with the first one, the non-champion. And that's 2 hits and wounding on 2s. 1 wound. 6 up save on the Herdman. And death. Now for the champion. I'm not going to supercharge it, but still rapid fire, hitting on 3s. Oh, that's 2 hits and wounding on 3s.
Yep.
1 wound. 6 up save. Death.
Alright. So
Now for the charge. Black Knights.
2, 4.
Frag grenade. Throwing it, hitting it. +2 to this, so that's 8. Hitting on 6s. Getting nothing. 2 meltas hitting on 6s. Nothing. Hitting on 6s for the bolters. Getting 4 hits with the bolters. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound. 3 plus. Save. Plasma pistol now hitting on a 6.
Not overcharged.
Not supercharged. Miss. Knights of the Blackened Cyst will charge the Herdman. And they make it. So my champion here, Terra Tomac, the Hexblood, he's got a special rule that says that if he has a wound inflicted on him, he causes a mortal wound on you. This unit, Knights of the Blackened Cyst, also has a special rule called Droning Hymns, which means that units within 7 inches are -1 leadership. Unless it's a Nurgle unit, then it's +1 leadership. Other than that, they are your standard Plague Marines. Let's roll for Terra Tomac first. He's got a Plague Sword. He's hitting on 3s. And that 6 is Death to the False Emperor. That's an extra hit. That by itself does not generate further hits. Wounding on 4s. Getting 2. It is a Plague weapon, so I'm going to re-roll that 1. So that's 2 wounds. 3 up save. 1. All the rest have 1 attack each, hitting on 3s. 6s are additional hits. Wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s because of their Plague Knives. And that's 3 wounds. 3 up save on the Herdman. 1 more dies. Herdman will attack back. They are equipped with chainswords, so they're 2 attacks each. Hitting on 3s. Rerolling those 1s because Bolverk is close by.
And
Wounding on 5s. 1 wound. 3 up save. Save. Oh, the Herdmen are in trouble. Good thing Bolverk is close by. Bolverk now is going to move in on his turn. Going to Space Wolves, turn 2. Steel Fingers, the Iron Priest, he's going to also move into this combat. Suture the Black is going to move forward. Ghosts of Azahheim will move forward. They're going to not let those Nurglings escape. In the shooting phase now.
he is going to over.
Balder the Bloody there, he is equipped with a plasma pistol. He will shoot into the faces of the Knights of the Black and Cyst.
Charged.
Supercharged, so hitting on a 3, rerolling 1s, because you're close to
Thank God.
Bolverk. And that's a hit. Wounding on 3s. Oh.
No. I'm going to spend a command point.
Command point. Nice. 6 up save for this Plague Marine. That's a fail. And 5 up. No.
Disgusting. Causes 2 wounds.
5 up disgustingly resilient. Oh, when you make it. And that does 2 damage because you supercharged, so here's the second disgustingly resilient, and no, so 1 dies. And the Herdmen have the rest of their bolt pistols hitting on 3s. And rerolling the 1 because Bolverk is close by. Wounding on 5s. 2 wounds. 3 up save. 1 failed. Disgustingly resilient. Another 1 dies. Charge phase. Suture the Black is going to charge into this battle. He needs...
Oh, we got to do shooting.
Reverse time for a second. Before we do that, we're going to finish the shooting on this side of the battlefield with the Ghost of Azahheim shooting the objective Nurglings. Starting with the frag, adding 2 to the amount of... Oh, that's 7 in total. Very Nurgling. Hitting on 3s. 5 hits, and you're wounding on 3s here. 4. 4 or 5 up demonic invuln saves. Ooh, that went all over the place. So 3 failed. Now disgustingly resilient. Made 1, so that's 2 more wounds. That takes out a Nurgling and 1 wound on another. 14 rapid firing bolter shots from the Ghost of Azahheim now, hitting on 3s. Wounding on 2s. 5 wounds. 5 up invuln save. None. Disgustingly resilient. 2. 3 more wounds, but that's enough to take out this one here. And you can still see it, so you will charge. And how far? 4. Command point re-roll. Getting a 9. That's enough to get a lot more in. Suture the Black now is going to charge the Knights of the Black and Cyst. And you need 4 inches. And you get a 5. And now Steel Fingers plus Bolverk, you're just going to move them in.
Go first.
Bolverk's going to go first. Because of his Berserk rule, you get D3 additional attacks because you charged. Nice. That's 2 more addition to your 5, so that's 7 in total. Hitting on 2s with his axes of Suture. Rerolling 1s because he is who he is. All hits. His black axes of Suture cause mortal wounds on 6s in addition to regular damage. They are -3 and 2 damage each. So you strength 5 on these. Mm-hmm. So wounding on 4s. 1 mortal wound and 3 wounds.
5 wounds.
Actually, that's 4 wounds plus 1 mortal wound.
Yep.
Here are the regular saves, which are
6s.
Yeah, they're 6s. So I made none. That's 9 disgustingly resilient rolls now. Made 2, so that's 7. And in one fell swoop, he takes out the Knights of the Black and Cyst with 1 awesome swing. Now, because Terra Tomac, the Hex Blood, has Cursed Blood special rule, each wound that is inflicted on him, he gives mortal wounds back to whatever unit inflicted it, so Bolverk takes 2 mortal wounds. Bolverk starts with 6, so he's down to 4 wounds. And we're going to consolidate everything closer to this door because it's better for you.
Ghost of Azahheim now attacking the Nurglings. So these 4 can attack. 8 attacks, hitting on 3s.
Twos.
Wounding on 2s. 3 wounds. 5 up, demon save, nothing. Disgustingly resilient. 1, taking 2 wounds. Nurglings will attack back with their 4 attacks, hitting on 4s. That's 2, and wounding on 6s. That's nothing. Morale phase, I gotta roll for these Nurglings. They're leadership 7, so they're down to 5 now. So if I roll a 6, they're gone. They're fine. And this unit of Nurglings, they only lost 1, so they're down to leadership 6, they can't fail. And these right here, they're fine. And now for the Herdmen, let's roll for their leadership because you lost 4 guys. If you roll a 6, you lose a guy. You're fine. You would have been able to re-roll it anyway. And you use their leadership, Bolverk's leadership.
Yes.
Death Shroud Terminators will move forward. I'm going to advance them over here. They need to help out. Because they want to kill you. They want to kill you. Ghost of Azahheim. Also going to advance Crozus the Serene. He will come over here. Going to advance this Nurgling unit. 6 inches. Move them over here. The Veduak, they will also run. 3 plus their 6, 9 inches. And now for these Nurglings, they're going to run 4. And I'm going this way. I'm going to make it a little bit harder for you to get me. And the longer they're alive, the more victory points I get. Now for these Nurglings on this side of the battlefield, they're going to run 1 inch. So they'll just move up out of their hiding place. Crozus Serene in the Psychic phase will cast Blades of Putrefaction on the unit in front of him. And he gets perils. D3 mortal wounds. That's a 5. Disgustingly resilient. 5 up. Made both, so I take 1 wound.
Yep.
3 wounds left on Crozus the Serene. But they are Blades of Putrefaction. Onto the fight phase, starting with the Nurglings here. They have 4 attacks, hitting on 4s. That's 2, and wounding on 6s. That's nothing. Ghost of Azahheim will attack back. 8 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's better than last time. Wounding on 2s. That's all but 1. 7 wounds. Nurgle loves it. 5 up invuln save. Made 3. 4 disgustingly resilient rolls. Made none. That's a death. And that's another 3 victory points for the Ravnsvake player. That's 6 victory points for you thus far. And that's the end of the turn, so you are choosing not to consolidate forward. As it stands right now, Poisoned Chalice player, me, I have 11 victory points. And you have 7 victory points because you have killed 2 of the Nurgling objectives, which are 3 each. And you've also killed the Knights of the Black Insist. That's 1 additional victory point, bringing you up to 7. On your turn, the Ghosts of Azahheim, they have nothing to prove to anyone. They are long-fought veterans. They're not going to charge ahead into that group of Death Shroud Terminators. So they're choosing to tactically retreat. 6 plus 1.
Command point reroll.
Command point reroll?
You might want to watch me roll that again, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that plus their movement, so 10 inches back, which is good because they're making these Death Shroud Terminators come towards them. And since they moved out of the doorway shuts again. Suture the Black will advance 4 inches plus his movement. So you're going to move through the large door, because that's the only one he can move through.
The squad's going to advance.
Door shuts behind you, so the Herdmen, they're going to advance as well. 6 inches. They're going through the small doorway. They've entered the Generatorium room. Steel Fingers will advance as well. 3 inches. And he'll just move up closer to the larger door. Bolverk will also advance 5. Ending his move just behind the Herdman. Poisoned Chalice turn. This is what I'm going to do. I am going to move in this direction. I'm not going to chase the Ghosts of Azahheim, because that's exactly what they want me to do. And you'll be able to go around with Bolverk and Suture the Black on that side and just tear up face
I think the best bet for me is to try to hold you off as long as possible so that I can collect these victory points to make it harder and harder for you to catch up to me. My playcaster is going to run an inch. He's going to move here. And then this squad as well. Olgarax the Envoy, they're going to run as well. 7 inches in total. Very nurgly of them. And the Nurglings will run a couple inches, so they're going to go 7. A little bit further on down this hallway. These Nurglings on this side, I'll run them as well. So they're going to move out here. Door will shut behind them. Veduak, I will run them not very far. Crozus the Serene will cast Miasma Pestilence on the Terminators. And he makes it with a 7. They are now -1 to hit. That is another 3 victory points for having the 3 objectives engaged in combat and still alive. So I'm at a total of 14, and you are at 7 currently. Now it's back to your turn. Your herdmen will move forward. They can see Olgarax the Envoy down the hall. Suitor the Black will move and advance. An inch.
9 inches, so 2, 4, 6, 8 and a half.
Bolverk, he will advance. 3 plus his movement.
He is going to move, and hopefully it's 2.
Steel fingers
4,
now.
6.
He'll move in advance.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 to his movement. Goes through the door.
2, 6.
The ghosts of Azaheim will move in advance as well. A couple inches. Baldur's herdmen are going to shoot at Olgarax and his unit. Hitting on 3s. 2 hits. Wounding on 5s. Nothing. Back over to the Poisoned Chalice turn. Going with the movement of these Nurglings. Going to advance them. Nurglings over on this side as well. They're going to move and advance. And in this corner, they will do the same thing, and not nearly as fast, though. And now for Crozus the Serene. He's going to... He can cast Smite, can't he? Yeah, he's in range. Olgarax are going to move up and advance an inch. Now for the Psychic phase. Crozus the Serene, he's going to cast Smite on you. He gets a 10. Oh,
Goes
that's
off.
too
Back
bad.
3 more wounds.
D3, that's 1. 1 guy dies. I'm going to command point reroll that, because I want to kill more than 1. I killed 2. And then I'll do Blades of Putrefaction on them. And I make it with a 6 because I need a 5. Steel Fingers, on your turn now, back to the Ravnsvake turn. You're going to move forward. By the way, the Poisoned Chalice now have 17 victory points. Ghosts of Azaheim are going to move forward. Oh, look at this. In the Generatarium. And look at all of these nice Terminators that they can shoot up. Suitor the Black will move forward 8 inches. Baldur's Herdman will move forward. Bolverk will move in advance. 6. Shooting phase now. Suitor the Black is going to shoot at Olgarax the Envoy and his squad. Hitting on a 3 with the multi-multi. That's a hit. Wounding on a 3. That's a wound. 4 up invuln save due to Cataphractii armor. That's a fail. Multi-Melta, you're in range. 2 dice pick the highest for damage. And you get 4 damage. And 4 disgustingly resilient rolls, all on one guy. Made 1, but 1 guy's dead. So why don't we do this? Let's kill a guy right here. Suitor will now fire his Kami Bolter. 4 shots, hitting on 3s. That's 3 hits. And wounding on 5s.
Nothing. And now for the Ghost of Azahheim, they're going to shoot at Ogorax now, hitting on 3s with their bolters. Because of their special rule, Firing Discipline, whenever you roll 6s to wound, it's AP -1 and
2 damage.
2 damage. So we're looking for 6s here, but you're wounding on 5s.
Yep.
So you get 2 wounds, no 6s. And regular save, 2 up. Oh, 1 goes through, disgustingly resilient. And 1 takes 1 wound. Steel Fingers now on this side is shooting at the Nurglings with his Hellfrost pistol, hitting on 3s. That's a hit. Wounding on a 2. That's a wound. I'm going to roll for my save.
Oh, yeah.
5 up, invuln save. Fail. D3 wounds. 3.
Which is good, because now I probably have no way to get to the in-charge phase. That looks like way more.
The Herdman now going to be firing at Croesus the Serene because he is the closest enemy unit. However, because he's within 3 inches of those Death Shroud Terminators, their silent bodyguard rule comes into play. So on a 2 up, any hits go to them. For the Melta Guns.
Hitting on 3s.
Hitting on 3s. That's 2 hits, so I'm going to roll. And on 2 ups, it goes on the Death Shrouds. So that's on the Death Shrouds. Wounding on 3s now. Oh!
Snake eyes.
Okay. Alright, now, Ghost of Azahheim. They are going to run into the Wall of Flame. They're going to charge these Death Shroud Terminators that have their Plague Spitter Gauntlets. They're Flamers. So that's 46 plus 8, because that's each one with a Flamer. So that's 12, 18...
Oh, you're still adding.
Now to wound, I need 5s and 6s.
1 and 4 ups.
13 wounds. Rerolling 1s because they're plague weapons. Getting another 3, so 16. 3 up save. The Ghost of Azahheim. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 guys dead.
And 2 over on that side. And charging 6 inches.
So I'm going to go myself in the corner here.
Suture the Black. Charge.
Mm-hmm. No, you can make it.
Command point?
Listen, if I use it and I fail him, then I'm not going to be able to have it for him.
True.
That's my
You have 1 left or 2?
2.
You have 2 left?
That's my...
Yeah.
I got to save it for him.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to Overwatch with a bolt pistol. That's a miss. Bolverk needs 7 inches to get to Croesus the Serene. Does he make it? He does. And he makes it in. Gonna roll for Bolverk first. D3 extra attacks for having the Berserk special rule. And that's 3 extra, so he's 8. He's corn right now, man. Hitting on 2s with his Black Axes of Suture. Rerolling 1s because he is who he is. And getting 1 more hit. Wounding on 3s, but rolls... Actually, wounding on 4s, rather.
Yes.
But rolls of 6 are mortal wounds in addition to regular damage. And that's 3 mortal wounds. Rolling for the regular saves first. So my regular saves here are 6 up, because your mine's 3. Okay, made 1. 12 disgustingly resilient rolls. You got 3 mortal wounds, which I'm including in the pool here. And you are 2 damage each. Correction, there's 9. Because I need to count that better. And 5 plus to ignore these. I got to save a lot of them. That's not enough. Croesus goes down. Goes down to the axe, Black Axes of Suture, wielded by Bolverk. Now Steel Fingers, he's going to charge. He needs a 10. We're just going to go ahead and roll this, included in the charges here. And you with an 8.
Now I will spend the command point reroll, which I didn't spend yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. So you need a 4. And you make it. You make it. Steel Fingers is swinging his Tempest Hammer. He's -1 to hit with 3 attacks, hitting on 3s instead of 2s against these Nurglings here. And that's 3 hits. Wounding on 2s. Oh, yeah.
Last one.
This is a different phase now, technically, so you're going to spend a command point to reroll this wound, needing a 2.
That's wound, so that's 2 wounds.
Yep.
2 5-up invuln saves. Made 1. So 1 goes through.
Die 3.
1. So it actually wasn't D3 wounds, it was a straight up 3 damage for that. So I'm just going to reduce this one to 1. And on a roll of a 6, you inflict a mortal wound because I have some unsaved wounds here.
Nope.
Nope. Piling in the Ghosts of Azaheim. Grim Herald will attack first with his power axe, hitting on 3s. Everybody else has chain sword, so they're hitting on 3s. Nice roll.
I'll hit.
Wounding on 5s and 6s. 2. And that is a 2-up save. And all saved. I
I would
will.
make that one guy step over the... My thing is, if you had a guy here, make him step over. Because after...
Hitting back now. Hitting on 3s with the Man Reapers. And 6s are additional hits. Rolls to hit. Wounding on 2s. 12 6-up saves. Well, you made 5.
Fail.
That's 7.
Fail.
That is the squad, and that is a victory point for the Poisoned Chalice for taking out a unit. And now back here, I'm going to attack your Steel Fingers with my Nurglings, hitting on 4s with 8 attacks. Wounding on 6s, getting 1. 3-up save.
No.
Fail. I will consolidate my Death Shrouds this way, because you are the closest enemy, Mr. Bolverk. On to the Poisoned Chalice turn. Moving my Death Shrouds up. Going to surround Bolverk. Actually, that's a little too far for that Death Shroud. They only move 4 inches. They're going to surround you. I'm not going to move anything else, but what I am going to do is shoot Bolverk with my flamers. 5d6 plus 10 here, Tom. That's a lot of flamers, man. Alright, so it looks like we get a total of 17, so 27. Wounding on 5s. So we get 7 3-up saves you need to make. It's very Nurgly of him. 1. No!
He's dead.
No! I wanted to take him out in close combat. That's not right. And now, at the end of my turn, another 2 victory points for having 2 of these Nurglings unengaged. For a total of 22 victory points to your 9. And now it's time for you to move up. On your turn, Suitor the Black will move forward as well.
To avenge his son.
Oh yes. Steel Fingers in Shooting Faith will fire his Hellfrost pistol into those Nurglings. That's a miss.
It's a hit. I hit on 2. Oh, 3.
That was a miss. You needed to hit on 3s. Now for Suitor the Black, shooting his multi-meltas into the Death Shrouds. That's a miss. 2 melta guns from the Baldur's Herdman into the Death Shrouds. On 3s, that's 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. It's 1 wound.
Does -4, I think, is it?
4-up invuln save.
Yeah.
Made it. Combi Bolters now from Suitor the Black. That's 2 hits. Wounding on 5s. Nothing. Suitor the Black will charge now. I will overwatch with the Flamers. And D6 plus 10. 6s to wound Suitor the Black. Getting 7 6s again. How Nurgly of them. 3-up save. So 2 go through.
2 go through.
And he will charge. 10, you are in. Herdman will charge. 7, that's in. And you're in with everybody. Suitor the Black, hitting on 2s. That's 3 hits. And your 2s to wound me. 3 wounds. 4-up invuln save. Made 1, 2 go through. So 3 damage each, yes? Okay, so for the first wound here, I'm going to roll for the Disgustingly Resilience on the Terminator with only 1 wound left. So he's dead. And on the second Terminator, he's also dead. 1, 2, and piling in your Herdman. Boulder the Bloody, he'll go first with his power axe, hitting on 3s. 1 hit. Wounding on a...
Strength.
Wounding on a 4.
4. Yep.
That's a wound.
-1.
-1, so 3 up save. We made it.
Okay.
And the other Grey Hunters will attack now with their chain swords. So 6 attacks, hitting on 3s. 5 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1. 2 up save. Saved. Alright, now I'm going to attack back. Olgarax will go first against Suture the Black. He hits on 3s. 6s are Death to the False Emperor. Extra hits or rolls, so that's 5 hits. 5s to wound. Getting 2. -2, so 5 up saves. 1 goes through, that's just 1 damage, bringing you down to 7. Now attacks from the Death Shroud Terminator with his Man Reaper, hitting on 3s. That's 3 hits. And wounding on 3s. 3 wounds. And these are -3.
So I need 6s.
6s. Oh! 2 go through. D3 damage per, so that's 4.
So
Suture the Black is down to 3 wounds. Now for the other 2 Death Shroud Terminators attacking the Herdman, hitting on 3s with their Man Reapers. And that's 4 hits. Wounding on 2s. 4 wounds. 6s here. 1 survived.
which will be the sergeant?
Now for leadership, you lost 3 guys, so you're down to leadership 5. On a roll of a 6, you lose him. Nope, you're fine. Balder remains in the fight. I lost 2 Death Shrouds, but my leadership is high enough that I don't have to roll.
Got 5 over there.
Steel Fingers now, attacking the Nurglings, hitting on 3s, because of his hammer attacks. That's 1 hit, and wounding on 2s. That's a wound. 5 up demonic save. Fail. And I'll just take out the 1 Nurgling because he only had 1 wound left. Nurglings attack back. 4 attacks hitting on 4s. Wounding on 6s. Nothing. Going straight back to my turn now. Let's see what I can do here. I think I'm going to put my attacks on Suture the Black. I think I have to here. 3 attacks from Olgarax, hitting on 3s. And that 6 is an extra. Okay, so that's nothing. Wounding on 5s. Nothing. Now 3 hits from the Death Shroud Terminator. That's 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. 1. 6 up save. Goes through and D3 damage. Oh. Does he explode? He does not. And the other 2 Death Shroud Terminators will attack Balder. See if they can take him out. Hitting on 3s. 6s are additional. Wounding on 2s. That's 5. And you're just going to take him out. And on that note, we're going to call this a Poisoned Chalice victory. It was a total of 24, 25, 26 to 9, I think, in the end there. And we're going to roll for upgrades because this is a campaign, and the rule is whatever units survive that are part of the detachments get to roll on the unit upgrade tables. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Taking a look at the upgrade tables. Like we said before, all of these are included in the link in the video description below for the campaign, and you're able to take a look at all of them as well in case you wanted to play this campaign out in your gaming clubs. It would be fantastically fun. I know that it's awesome because these are all custom per unit, and there's very highly detailed upgrades that are included with each detachment. Starting with the Veduak, because the rule is they have to survive the entirety of a mission, and there's only 2 units that have survived the entirety of this mission, which are the Veduak. So the rule is on the first mission, they roll a d4. So we're going to roll a d12, and we're going to cut it into thirds, or cut it into quarters rather.
Yep.
So here's their upgrade.
getting a 12, so that's 4. Go to ground. Dropping down into cover, these warriors maximize the effectiveness of natural terrain at the expense of firing efficiency. Whenever this unit is shot at during the shooting phase and they are not locked in combat, they may choose to go to ground, immediately increasing their save by 1. When they do this, they may not move during their subsequent movement phase and suffer -1 ballistic skill until the end of their subsequent shooting phase. So they have now the go to ground special rule, and that's what they gain for doing nothing this mission. And looking through these upgrade tables, there are actually no upgrade tables for Olgarax, the Envoy. So they are already good. They don't need to get any better. In addition to upgrade tables, there are also damage tables. Now we're going to roll on these for the units that have been destroyed during this mission. Starting with Croesus the Serene, I'm rolling a d12 here. If I roll a 1, he is dead. I get a 3. Critical wounds. This character suffers grievous wounds and must spend the next mission recovering. During the next mission, you may not use this character. During the subsequent mission, if you use this character, he will suffer the severe wounds effect, which is the next one. And the severe wound says if this character participates during the next mission, he suffers -1 to his strength, toughness, and wounds characteristic during the next battle. If the character is required to roll on this table while suffering this effect, subtract 1 from this roll on this table. So he is -1 strength, toughness, and wounds the mission after, should I choose to feel him. Now for the Knights of the Blackened Cyst, they are infantry. I roll 2d6, and let's see what happens to them. Getting a 10, which is quick recovery. Recovers well enough and can be used during the next battle without any penalties. Okay, so they're fine. Well, they're Plague Marines. I mean,
Well, they should. It
makes
really
sense.
makes sense.
Now for the Ravnsvake detachment, rolling on the unit damage table, starting with Bolverk. Gonna roll a d12, see what his result is. You get an 11, quick recovery. He can be used during the next battle without any penalties. Suitor the Black now, rolling on his chart. He's got a slightly different chart, rolling on the vehicle chart here, rolling 2d6. Getting a 7, which is battle damage. If this unit is used during the next mission, it suffers -1 to its wounds characteristics and -2 to its move characteristics. Rolling for Baldur's Herdsman, 2d6. Getting a 7. Substantial losses. The unit's losses will require it to rest and replenish. This unit may not be used during the next mission.
Okay.
The Ghosts of Azahheim will also roll. They get, what is that?
7. Same thing.
7. So it's the exact same thing, substantial losses. Regardless of the casualties inflicted upon them by the Space Wolves, the corruption of the Antiliar Barbican is too much for the Space Marines to even consider purging, and Bolverk is forced to order a retreat. As the corridors of the station rust, and the surviving personnel succumb to the packs of Nurglings and scrapcode, the Death Guard are able to turn the lance batteries down onto the planet's surface, ensuring their total orbital supremacy. At least until the Naglfar can return and contest it, though when it does, the Space Wolf vessel will be hard-pressed to deal with the Locust, a dozen iconoclast escorts, and the corrupted Antiliar Barbican. And just to note, the units that were used during this mission will not be used in the second mission because the second mission, which will be on the planet's surface, will be happening pretty much simultaneously as this mission. So click on the link in the video description below to watch mission number 2 in the Doom of Eolicanth, and sign up for the vault if you have not done so already so that you can gain access to the entirety of the campaign, and go to miniwargaming.com/Eolicanth to gain access to the entire thing as it's released. Happy wargaming, see you in the next video.